What's up everybody and welcome to the Game of the Week show episode number 8. I'm your host Matt Southwell and on my right is the ever present Dan Gilbert.
Hi everyone.
You had a good week?
Yeah, it's been pretty good. Out a couple of times, so
good.
Looking forward to the weekend.
Yeah, definitely. And on my left is Ashley Dye.
Morning.
Good morning. Well, afternoon now. After
it is afternoon now.
Do you think you're going to be able to stay awake as we're that little bit later?
I should be fine.
Excellent.
Yes.
That's good. Alright, so just very quickly, for anyone out there who's not aware of what the Game of the Week show is, it's 3 friends sitting around this table every Monday to discuss the latest topics of the video gaming industry. We'll then round out our show with our featured Game of the Week. Okay, so let's get straight on with the news. And the first item this week, and through first quarter of April through to June, it appears that Sony is still winning the race against Microsoft. They have outsold the Xbox by a ratio of 3 to 1. Sony's financial figures reported that PS3, PS4 sold for a combined of 3.5 million units, whereas the Xbox One and Xbox 360 have only sold 1.1 million units in that same quarter. These are obviously not great figures for Microsoft, guys. We've talked about this briefly before, so we won't go into too much detail, but it's another win for Sony, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I'm very much a Sony PlayStation fan, so it's for me it's no surprise. But because obviously I think the PlayStation's better because I'm a PlayStation player.
You're biased.
A little bit.
Yeah, I mean, if you go by everyone's reaction when the what is now current gen stuff came out, it's not surprising that Sony's ahead.
Yeah.
Maybe the ratio's a bit of a surprise when you're combining previous gen as well, because the Xbox 360 was very popular.
Yeah, well I think on the flip side, because it was so popular, everyone's got 360.
Yeah,
but there's people still adopting the PS3 because PS3 was always playing catch up, so it actually had a lot more momentum. So we don't know how many of these sales are current gen and next gen, and it should also be noticed, I suppose, April was slightly before they took out the Kinect out of the Xbox One.
That's true.
And we talked about that on last week's show, or maybe the week before.
Yeah, about how much prices come down as well, which hopefully might encourage more.
Yeah, I mean, Xbox sales were well up after that. So obviously, it's good we've got competition still, and hopefully for the neutral and for the Microsoft fan, that Xbox can close that gap a little bit more in the next quarter.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you don't care.
I might buy an Xbox One out of pity.
How generous of you. Okay, so number 2 on our list, and this week EA have announced a new service called EA Access. So this is quite an interesting service. They announced that for £4 a month or $5 a month, you'll be able to have unlimited access to their game library. It's going to be in beta at the moment. Only FIFA 14, Madden 25, Peggle 2 and Battlefield 4. But this sounds like quite an interesting service, guys. What were your first impressions on it?
It's something else that's added on top. It's basically gaming Netflix, isn't it?
Yeah.
For want of a better description, it's like you pay your money, you maybe get a game you want to play, maybe you don't. I mean, where it is at the moment, there's not much.
No.
When it goes out fully, how far back is that catalogue and stretch?
That was my thought actually. Is how much are you getting for your $4 or $5 a month or whatever?
Yeah.
I think if you look, let's say a year down the line or 2 years down the line, and all of a sudden you've got 50 titles to choose from, it's a bit different than having 5.
Yeah, sure.
It's like for sports titles, for example, because EA do a lot of them. Are you only going to have the most recent one available, or if you're a big fan of FIFA, are you going to be able to go back to FIFA 2002 and play that one because you want to play with a particular team?
I would imagine. Well, actually, this has been announced as an Xbox One only system at the moment.
Yeah.
So I would imagine that obviously you're not going to be able to go to back catalogue because there's no back catalogue or backwards compatibility of the Xbox One. But obviously going down the line as we get FIFA 14, 15, 16, 17, will you always be able to play FIFA 14? Maybe. But I think more importantly will come down to how recent the games are. Like all of these games are pretty much, with the exception of Peggle 2, but they're all last winter's releases. Yeah. So if the games are always going to be that old, the fans of those games will have probably already played them. But it's. I will keep an open mind and see. It will come down to the catalogue and the quality of games.
Yeah,
I mean, you could argue that it's just an old catalogue because they don't have their latest releases yet.
Yeah,
They're trying it out at a period where the new winter games obviously aren't here yet because we're still in summer.
yeah,
So they've got to try it with something.
yeah. We'll see how it goes. Obviously, it's very early, but I personally, I think it could be quite good value for money.
Yeah.
But I mentioned before Xbox One only. Sony actually came out and said that it didn't represent fair value to their customers, which was quite interesting.
Yeah, that was based off what Sony offers as their PlayStation Plus service, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah, they think that they give better games for free than EA can offer you for £5 a month. Which
yeah, I suppose
that's fine. But there might be another reason as well, which we'll touch on in just a second. But let's just see how it goes. It's very early days. If the games are good enough, I will buy it.
Yeah, it does. It does just come down to the games that are available.
Okay, so following on from the news there of EA Access, number 3 on our list this week, and PlayStation Now the beta has finally been released in North America. For anyone out there who's not aware of what PlayStation Now is, it's Sony's streaming service that will allow you to play PS3 along with other kind of classic PlayStation games by streaming them to your Sony device, be it your Vita, your PS3, your PS4, and even your Sony Bravia TVs. So guys, this has been announced. Firstly, what do you think of the service?
I think it's a great service. When I first heard about it, a few months ago, I thought it was definitely a good idea, definitely. And I think it's nice to have that because it is nice every now and again. You want to change and you want to play an old game. I think it'll be really good.
Okay,
Concept's fine.
Yeah,
but when it first was announced and first came out, people have been complaining about how the games lag for them when they've been streaming.
Yeah,
so on, and that's not so much a fault of the service, but unless everyone has good quality high speed internet,
yeah,
it's a service that falls down.
But
it's not a fault of Sony.
No,
yeah, it's your individual service provider.
There are many hurdles to this service.
Yeah.
Like Ash says, it's a great concept, a great idea, but you've got internet infrastructure.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm pretty sure we would not be able to play full HD games lag free on our. Well, you will because you've got super powerful internet. But us poor folk, where I live, and I only get 6 meg, it's not going to run very well.
Yeah,
and I'm not alone. There's lots of people. The internet is not as far along as some people think it is.
No.
So that'll be interesting to see how that works. Secondly, you're looking at the price, and that's basically people are only going to pay if the pricing is competitive, I think.
Yeah, because you were mentioning that to me the other day when first saw this come out, and it's ridiculous, isn't it?
It's not cheap. So I've got it here. They vary from game to game, but just an example here. For 4 hours, it will cost you $3 to play a game. So for 4 hours of gameplay, so $2.99.
Wow.
So that is
expensive.
That's expensive.
Straight away before you go through the others, you just flip that back to EA's one at $5 for a month.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes, you're limiting yourself a little bit more because EA's only got a set number of games, whereas if Sony's PlayStation Now is literally anything that PlayStation.
Well, I think at the moment, I think it's going to definitely be all. The catalogue will all be a lot of first-party stuff to start with. We'll see what happens with third parties, but yeah, that's a huge, for an extra few quid.
On that basis alone, I wouldn't buy it.
Okay, but I would say everyone avoids this price. This is expensive. It gets better as you go up. $6 for a week, roughly on average. Again, it varies from game to game, but that's pretty good. When I used to go to Blockbuster, it was normally about £6 or £7 a game, or £10 for 2 games. It's like £5 a game if you bought 2. And I think a week is long enough to get a very fair assessment of a game and maybe even complete it in some regards.
Yeah, I suppose if you just go on there for one game.
Yeah.
It is better. I mean, that is more reasonable, perhaps.
And then there are also 1 month and 3 month options as well, which vary.
Prices on a 3 month.
Well, again, it depends. I saw one for Formula 1 2013. So that game's only 9 months old. That was $24 for 3 months. Sorry, for 1 month. Which is, it's still cheaper than buying the game, but it varies from game to game. You're generally looking at the 3 month option will be basically the same price as paying a game. And then, me personally, I'd rather own the game.
Yeah, same.
But we'll see how it goes. I think the main target audience will be for people who can then, in theory, because it's a streaming service, you can play it on any device. So people who've only got a Sony TV can try it out and go, actually, I like some of these games. I might go and buy a PS4 now.
Yeah, I've got a Sony TV.
But you also got a PS4 and a PS3 and a PS Vita. So
and a Sony surround sound.
Yeah.
I should just own Sony.
Well, I wouldn't. They're not actually very
No,
profitable.
I know. Yeah.
But yeah, it's we'll see how the beta runs. Obviously, that's what the beta's there for. It's for testing to see how it runs. If they have a lot of people complaining about the price, I'm sure it will change in the future. Okay, so number 4 on our list, and staying with Sony one more time, Little Big Planet 3 has finally been given a release date. It's going to be coming out on November the 18th, and it's available for PS3 and PS4. Guys, excited for this game?
Not overly. I'm not a big fan of the game personally. I mean, it is a popular game. I know it is. I mean, I think you lent me a copy of one of your games, and I just actually never got around to playing it. But I know it is a popular game. It's just not my kind of game.
Same as there's so much else coming out around that time. For me personally, it's far down the order.
Yeah, I mean,
I understand its popularity and why there's another one.
Yeah, no, I think they're reasonable fun in terms of kind of like a side-scrolling kind of platformer kind of game. It's fun. It's got like the basic kind of mechanics of like Mario, which is obviously a lot of success over the years. And I think the real strength of Little Big Planet is the community. You can the community build their own levels, and you can play other people's levels.
Yeah.
And the customization, that's where it's fun. I might buy it. It depends how much money I have come November. But like Dan says, it's lower down on my list. But if everyone's saying that it's amazing, then maybe it will gauge more of my interest.
Yeah, it might be one of those games where I don't buy it initially at the launch, but a couple of months down the line, some people might say to me, it's really good. And if there's nothing out at the time that interests me, I might go and buy it.
Well,
but it's not something I'm going to buy.
You've got the Christmas and January sales, haven't you? I suppose
it's more of a game you get talked into buying rather than you straight out go and get.
I'll base mine on maybe other people's opinions, perhaps, as to whether I get it.
Yeah. Don't have anything else to say. So we'll end that there. Okay, so number 5 and the final item on our news story this week, and it's that time of the month where the new PlayStation Plus games and the new games with gold have been announced. So we'll run through them very quickly. For PlayStation 4, Road Not Taken and Fez. For PlayStation 3 is Proteus and Crisis 3, and for Vita is Metrico and Lego Harry Potter Years 5 through 7. Guys, any of those games really jump out for you as
Harry
interesting?
Potter.
Really? You like the Lego? You're a fan of Lego?
No, I'd only download it now for my son's play, to be honest. But
Okay.
I do like the Lego games, but I've not played the Harry Potter ones much.
Yeah. Dan, any of those? I know. I'm obviously asking you guys because you're the Sony fans. So.
Yeah.
Not overly. I'm a little bit disappointed because I read so many of the rumours of stuff coming out beforehand, and Octodad was mentioned on there so much. It's just like,
yeah.
Thing is, it's like when you start getting the rumours, like people are saying, no, this was leaked, and then this was leaked, and it's just like until the official blog release, it's just like you can't tell what's
I would not listen. I wouldn't listen to any of the rumours because I could go and post a thing on the blog and say these are the games that are going to be out, and if enough people look at it and share it, then it becomes a rumour.
Oh yeah,
the rumours mean absolutely nothing, and you see people always guessing these games, and they're never right.
Nah.
Eventually they will be right, especially on like PS4 because there are only so many games. But I'm interested in Crisis 3. I think that I never played Crisis 3, so
No, it's like
I'll have a
I
look at
saw
that.
little bits and pieces on it. Never fully came onto my radar, but I might check that out.
And Fez is the one that I've heard and seen advertised everywhere. Like when it came out, it was everywhere. It was huge, but I never played it, so now I have a chance to see if it's worth the hype. But what I would say is obviously these games will go live on the 6th of August. So anyone that hasn't yet downloaded the July games, make sure you do those now. I'm looking at you guys. They're free. You got no excuse to not download them.
I've already grabbed them.
Yeah, I think I've selected. Yeah, I've not downloaded them.
Or at least the PS4 ones.
Selected them.
Yeah, doesn't cost. Doesn't take you any time. Well, it does. It takes you about 30 seconds.
Yeah,
but you don't have to download it. You can just set it as like purchase it for €0, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Moving on to Xbox, and those games are actually already live because they started on the 1st of August. And for 360, you've got Motocross Madness and Dishonored. Both of those really good games. I played Motocross Madness quite a bit when I was on my 360, and that's a lot of fun. Dishonored, I barely have played, but it does look fun. And for Xbox One was Crimson Dragon and Strike Suit Zero.
I don't know those games.
No. Crimson Dragon, I personally have no real interest in that game, but for people out there of, you know, that kind of fantasy theme, then I'm sure they'll enjoy it. Strike Suit Zero looks quite fun, and I'll be looking to check that out. These kind of like mini arcade games they're always a lot of a lot of the good ones are always a lot of fun, and I'm getting to experience more and more now through this, because when they're free, why not?
Well, yeah.
But there you go. Those are the games for this month. Make sure you just set them down. Even if you're never going to play them, just get them. They're free. You never know. One day you might go, oh, I wonder what that game's like, and you might find a game that you enjoy. Okay, so now it's that time where we'll discuss our game of the week, and this week we're talking about Celador's Games Rogue Legacy. It came out this week on the PlayStation platforms, both PS4, PS3 and also Vita. It's cross-buy, so it means you only have to buy it once and you get it for all three of those systems. It's over here it's $9.99 or $7.99 if you're a PlayStation Plus member, which, let's be honest, you better be. And yeah, it's basically a side-scrolling platform RPG where you enter a castle and there's other worlds, a tower, a dungeon, and a forest, and you have to find 4 different bosses in those 4 worlds and defeat them all. You're basically trying to avenge your father. You start off as a knight, but it's not that simple, is it, guys? It's not just go in and kill the bosses.
No, it's not like a Mario game. It's a bit more tricky.
Yeah. What are your? I mean, obviously, like I said, it's only came out Wednesday, so we haven't had that long to play on it. But what are your first impressions of it so far?
It's fun. It's very fast paced in terms of how long you tend to last before you die.
So basically, that means you die very quickly.
Yeah, it's hard in that respect, but it's all about, you know, getting your gold to level your character up, because when you die, it all passes to your heir. So it's not like a normal platformer game. It's like, oh, you've died, back to the start of the level you go, try again. You've died, that character's gone, pick a new one, that character gets to try again.
Yeah, no, I quite like that, like the whole different characters, and there's a few different classes that you can have, isn't there? Obviously, like I said, we start with a knight, then you can get a mage, a barbarian, and a knave. There are other ones to unlock further along. I just unlocked the shinobi, which is basically like a ninja. So that's cool. He wears like a bandana as well, so that obviously makes him a ninja. But not very smart, because if you don't wear a helmet, that's not the right word. Is it helmet?
Helmet for armor.
Yeah, helmet. So I had a blank
long moment.
Yeah, but without helmet, if people are swinging swords at you, you're going to die pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
I do love its simplicity, and I like that it's there's something that's so retro about the game. It's so old school in terms of its look and its feel.
Yeah.
You know, you just don't get You don't get many games like that nowadays, and I really love that about
You
it.
kind of get a little mix, I think. Personally, I think a lot of people are trying to grab that retro look and
A lot of the indie games are going that way.
Yeah, so you're getting a chunk of that. Not all of them execute it that well, and this game has.
Yeah, no, I really like it. For anyone out there maybe that's not got this game yet, but maybe played a game called Spelunky, that's a game I know it's been compared to quite a lot. I've never really played Spelunky, but I've seen like gameplay footage. It's a similar sort of thing. You got to get from beginning to end.
Yeah,
and
same.
stuff like that.
I've seen little bits of that, but not played it.
But that's a game. If you like that game, then I think you would like this game as well.
It's worth saying as well. The game has got a lot of humour to it as well.
Definitely.
Yeah, it does.
It's a good, light-hearted game in terms of its content. Some of the comments that come up and some of the descriptions of
Traits.
Yeah.
Each character gets a special ability, although they're not all special abilities, are they?
No. Some are, yeah.
You got any? Can you remember any of the examples or?
You've got like the
IBS, is it?
Yeah,
Yes.
IBS, where obviously makes him fart when he jumps,
Yeah.
and so on. You've got like one that's got dyslexia, so you can't actually read the text on the screen properly. You've got short and narrow, or short and far-sighted, so it'll blur off parts of the screen.
Colourblind.
There's one that can't see in 3D, so when your character flips around, you know how normally it's a case of it just turns around. You miss it for a second, so he actually disappears.
It's like Paper Mario style.
Oh, okay,
play that game,
yeah.
So that's quite
so
fun.
anything that turns around disappears for a second.
But no, I think I really enjoy that, and it's really fun. My favourite one, well, not my favourite one, but one that I really enjoyed was is a trait called nostalgic, and like the comment is something like you enjoy all thing, or they don't make things like this anymore, or something like that. And it boots up the world in kind of like the original Game Boy, kind of like that kind of yellowy kind of screen.
Oh yeah.
So the game's all screen, and rather than at the beginning it says loading or creating the level, it comes up with reminiscing as the loading. So it's like little things like that. It's just really
Quirky,
enjoyable.
yeah.
There's another one which I picked once, but I didn't really come across the negative side of it that's supposed to be there, is dementia, where it's like your character basically is a little bit mad and lost it, and you start seeing enemies that aren't there.
Yeah.
So like you're trying to attack something that doesn't exist. But I've not come across, unless that's all part of it, and I've actually been attacking
People that aren't there.
stuff. But
Well,
it
that's the
counts
point.
as hit points.
Yeah.
That's.
But you don't always get gold from them and stuff.
Yeah.
so.
Isn't there an upside down world as well?
Vertigo, yeah.
Vertigo.
That was annoying. Because I got that like my second or third character. I didn't really read. This is when I was still learning, and all of a sudden the world was like upside down. I was like, "What's going on here?" So I did what any normal human would do and did a headstand on my sofa so that I could see the screen. But yeah, that was it's fun, but
It's a fun game,
flipping.
but frustrating.
Yeah,
Fun
very
and
frustrating, very hard. We mentioned the bosses that you've got to kill. Don't even think about going to kill the bosses at the start. You just got to grind your way around these levels, trying to
Build up your
get as much gold as you can. So you
leveling up.
Yeah, so you can buy all those perks that Dan talked about. You know, boosting your health, your strength, your armor, and all that.
It is annoying though, where a lot of the runs you have happen, you just fall just short of being able to actually get something useful, and then when you go back to the start of the level, there's, I can't remember what he's called, but the gatekeeper sort of the
guy.
gatekeeper sort of guy, who basically will take 9 out of 10 times will pretty much just take all the gold.
He does take all of your gold. So
he does give you it free sometimes.
Does he?
I don't know if it's based on a certain amount or whether it's just completely random. But I've had a couple of times where he's just been like, "I'll let you in for free. This
Are you sure it's because you didn't have any gold?
I had like 20.
Oh, okay. So
when I noticed it.
Whenever you die, for anyone out there that's playing it, always recommend that you always buy as many upgrades as you can, because you basically, for the most part, can't keep your gold as you start again. There is a trait, or what I've heard, you can upgrade, so you can like become like a haggler.
Yeah, you can barter with.
Barter, yeah. So you keep a certain percentage of your gold. So that's I haven't unlocked that yet.
No.
But what you also have on top of, you might not have got to this stage yet.
No, I haven't.
On top of your upgrading your characters and your strength and that, you unlock these other characters. Like one's like a blacksmith. Blacksmith?
Yeah, blacksmith
Yeah,
who'll like do
give
your
you
armor
like
and your weapons.
upgrade your armor.
Oh, your armor, yeah.
But you have to find blueprints on the level to unlock them.
Yeah.
So that's good. Then you come across some woman that's
sorceress or
like
something.
a sorcerer, yeah. And again, you find them hidden in the level, and then you'll get special abilities. Like I've unlocked like one that's like a double jump, which is obviously there's some worlds where literally unless you have that double jump, you will die straight away. And what
it is a really good game, and I actually can't wait to actually leave here and get back on it. Back at home today.
It's addictive because it's that failing thing, isn't it? You hate failing,
and it's also because the level's not the same every time. It just randomizes it every time you go in, unless you have a particular perk where you can lock it down for an attempt. Every
level's randomly generated. You might come across the same one in maybe 100 or something. Yeah. But for the most part, they're different. But we were talking about the sorcerer and the blacksmith. There's a third character you can unlock.
Yeah, the architect.
Yeah, the architect. So if you feel like you've aced that level and you know where everything is, you can choose to have it again that next level.
But you only get 60% of
you lose
any
your
takings you get.
So
which is alright if you know
good.
Where to get a lot.
If you're at the stage where you feel you're good enough to defeat the boss and you can get to the boss on that level, lock it down, because otherwise it's going to be completely different next time and you're not going to have a clue where to go.
Yeah.
So, Platinum Trophy.
No.
No.
In a word, no. There was a one, I think you mentioned it to me briefly before we were filming.
Yeah.
You had to complete the whole game with 15 or less, or less than 15 deaths or something?
I think it's something like, I read it last night, something like die less than 15 times for a gold
trophy. Let's put it this way. Before I even found one of the first bosses, I already got the trophy for dying 20 times. So I think it's safe to say I will not be platinuming this game.
No,
it's hard. It is. I put a tweet up yesterday about how this could very well be the first game that causes me to break my PS4 controller.
Yeah.
Because like Dan says, you get so close to that thing and then someone kills you and it's like...
Yeah.
Just
it's almost like the definition of insanity, isn't it? It's like you're going in over and over again expecting something different to happen.
Yeah.
But you end up dying regardless.
Well, you think that it's different because the world's different. It's like, I'll be better this time. But you still die. It's hard. And I've watched a couple of videos on YouTube, and some people, like, you see them jumping and like doing all this stuff. It's like, how are you doing that?
And then you look up in the top left and it's like level 47. It's like, that's how.
Well, there was this guy who was on level 112. He posted on a group that I'm with, and he said he defeated the final boss. I was like, you look too good at this game. I hate you a little bit for that. And he's like, yeah, it's funny how only the good runs get uploaded. You haven't seen my other 500 that don't get uploaded. So be prepared to have patience if you want to play this game.
Yeah, but definitely. It's a lot of fun, but if you have anger issues, I would not play the game.
Or if I would, I'd play it in like a padded room. But there you go. Yeah, £8. You can't go wrong.
No,
I don't think.
It is a good game.
Okay guys, so that's it for this week on the Game in a Week show. If you've liked what we've talked about, then please do like this video and subscribe to our channel. If you've got anything you want to discuss regarding Rogue Legacy or any of the news stories we talked about, please leave comments down below. We will respond to you. And in addition, if you've got anything else just gaming related we haven't discussed, also leave those comments and we will respond to you as well. For now, Ashley, Dan,
Thanks, Matt.
Cheers, Matt.
Thank you for your time. And everyone out there, we'll see you next Monday.